What's up, guys? SpazPhoenix, your buddy, the YWC reality check, coming at you kind of late on a Friday, but this is not a SmackDown review. If you want to see my SmackDown review, go to Kara's channel, EmoKittyKat. The link will be in the description box below. I want to just talk to you guys for a second, because I don't know if I'm cool where I am as a wrestling fan right now. And it's a funny thing, because I wouldn't think of wrestling and being a wrestling fan as really being a spot where I would talk about personal growth, I guess you would say. This time last year, I was doing a lot of ranting and a lot of raving. There was a lot of stuff against the PG. There was a lot of stuff against John Cena specifically. There was a lot of stuff about just what I wish they were paying more attention to, and I wish they would do this, and I wish they would do that, and I wish they would, take their balls out of their purse, etc., and put on the great show that I know they can. I wish this guy would be featured more. I wish that guy was featured more. I wish, we would have a lot less bullshit and whatever. And a lot of last year, there were so many people in the YWC on Facebook and Twitter, etc., telling me that I was way too negative, telling me that I was way too... It sounded like I was looking for a reason to bitch, whereas in my own head, the reasons were right there. They were glaring, they were bright, like the truck headlights coming at me, shining in my face. That basically came to a head when I did Cenapocalypse. And for those of you that don't know, John, formerly of The Horseman, formerly of Beer Money 2K, now known as VocalAggression, John had to push me to do that video, because I was frustrated, and I wasn't frustrated in a way that it was ruining my life or anything like that. I'm not that dramatic, but in the sense that while I was watching wrestling, I was like getting physically, not physically, but actually frustrated at what I was seeing on my TV screen. And when I did it, it was like I told myself that I could do it, and then I did it again, and it felt good. And it was fine. And then we got into this year, and Cena was doing garbage, and we got to Mania. And I guess I was a bit sedated at Mania, because as I've said many, many times, if John Cena went to the big stage and lost, and proved that it can actually happen, I would try to give him a second chance. I would try to give the WWE as a whole a second chance. And it did. And I got, it's becoming my phrase, at WrestleMania, I got my scalp, I got my win against John Cena by virtue of backing The Rock. And John Cena actually lost. And a lot of other cool stuff happened, The Miz got a win, The Miz remained undefeated. This happened, that happened, etc., etc., etc. Daniel Bryan got the 18-second loss, which eventually made him one of the most over guys in the company right now, so even that could be considered as a good thing. So anybody that's watched my channel for a long time will try to tell you that I tried... From Mania until now, I tried to give everything the benefit of the doubt. Even John Cena. And this isn't a John Cena video, but John Cena is kind of the symbol of everything that pisses me off about wrestling right now. So, yeah, guys, this is going to be a ramble. I don't quite know where it's going to end up, but I've really, really tried in the past little while to see all the good, ignore all the bad, etc. It's like, okay, yeah, Cena's a goof. Okay, Santino's a goof and nobody cares and he's killing the U.S. title, but it's the U.S. title. But I try to look at the positive. It's like, hey, Jericho's back. Punk and Bryan are fighting, and that's amazing. We're starting to build the tag team division again. We're starting to build the Divas division against the Elite. We've got a main event diva in AJ who's better booked than the Divas champion. That's a good thing. There's a lot of good shit happening. We have a cool Intercontinental champion in Cody Rhodes that then became a cool Intercontinental champion in Christian. So I clung to all this good stuff like a life preserver almost. Like a life preserver, and I pushed out everything negative, just as all the more positive people, all the people that would have told me last year that I was being too hard on the business, that I was picking on this guy or that guy or whatever, as I see all those people in the YWC, Dalyxman's one of them, Preston's one of them, I think John is one of them, although he doesn't put himself off as frustrated as the rest of it. I see people like Kara, I see people like Angela, the British Fist, etc. People that I have immense respect for. each one of them in their own way has reached a breaking point in the past little while. Alex had one a little while ago. Basically, it was a video called "It's Okay to Rant on Wrestling Sometimes." John, with a little bit of probing from me, had a great rant at the end of Grappler's Grab Bag about his true feelings about the John Morrison situation. Preston is no longer the psycho shooter, and I'm not saying that, but he's still better than most of us at getting it out there when he's pissed off about stuff. And it's almost, I joked with Alex, because I'll tell you guys flat out, this video that I'm doing right now comes out of a lot of conversations that I've had over the past week with Kara, with John, with Preston, and with Alex. But, yeah, they've said to me, I've said to them, and I joked with Alex that, you know, this is the guy that told me, you know, maybe it's not as bad as you think it is last year when I was pulling my hair out about the Cena stuff. And I'm seeing some of these guys, and they're not, I'm not saying they're as bad as I was last year or a year and a half ago, but I feel like I've switched places with them. I'm the one that's, you know, clinging to this bit of hope or that bit of hope, and the people around me are starting to lose faith in the product. It really makes me look at myself and say, am I trying to delude myself just so that I don't want to pull my hair out? And then there's a bunch of crap. Holy shit. All the good shit that I am clinging to, all the good shit that is happening, that is amazing. And don't let me ever, you know, downgrade the amazing stuff that is happening. It's just buried underneath all the crap. And it's not just, you know, wrestlers and storylines. It's everything. It's what's happening to the WWE. It's what's happening to the wrestling business, etc. As a whole, Preston and Alex, who are two of the most, you know, outspoken, opinionated, but not in a bad way, type guys I know, that were very, very outspoken against TNA for a long time, and now on their podcast, I've heard them say 2 weeks in a row now that they can't believe how much they've been saying TNA is better than WWE. Now, I'm a TNA fan, but TNA is a B, C, D, maybe EF company. And if they're beating out the WWE that's supposed to be this big fucking global juggernaut powered by Vince McMahon's nutsack, then let's check this out for a start. WWE, what the fuck happened to their balls? What the fuck happened to WWE's balls? WWF, back in the day when they had the F, and the F was like a big fuck you to the rest of the world, and that's the real reason we had to get the F out, isn't it? Because, oh, we can't say that anymore, we can't offend anybody. If we offend anybody, then people will cry, and, you know, little Johnny's mommy won't let him watch the show anymore, and anyway, another story for another time. But back in the day, you had WWE who was pushing every envelope possible. You had every racy storyline, every controversial topic, every, you know, hot chick with her bikini painted on, every guy getting a chair shot in the head. And I'm sorry, Preston, sometimes we need a good chair shot to the head. Sometimes we need to see a guy get his face beat in with barbed wire. The rest of the time, absolutely. Have a good Matt Classic Angle versus Benoit, Benoit versus Guerrero versus Edge, whatever. But sometimes you need a good chair shot to the head. Sometimes you need to see somebody take a bump off a 20-foot cage and actually legitimately look like they've taken a bump. But you know what? Back then, WWE had a lot of balls. They gave us a lot more in a lot less time. They gave us more in the 2 hours of Monday Night Raw, or Raw is War, because we can't have the word war in there anymore, because somebody might get fucking offended. Now it's just Monday Night Raw, or it's the Monday Night Raw Super Show, which is even worse. Now we have the Super Show, we have SmackDown, we have NXT, we have Superstars, we have dark matches, we have light matches, we have fucking FCW, which is going to be the savior of everything. No, it's not. The savior of everything will be when you recognize the talent you've already got and not try to bury them from both ends. Moving on. You had Vince McFucking-Man, who went from going head-to-head with Ted Turner and Time Warner in court, who took DX and drove a tank to the doors of WCW, who went to court against the American fucking government twice and won. To this crap. They turn PG. They aim for the kids. They do this and that, and they try to dress it up with charity, and they try to dress it up as family programming, etc. Newsflash for you. If we're tuning in to watch wrestling, we're tuning in to watch wrestling. We're not tuning in to watch sports entertainment. We're tuning in to watch two people that don't like each other beat the crap out of each other. We're not tuning in to watch a couple of guys, you know, sit around and talk about their feelings like it's the Jerry fucking Springer show, send everybody home with a spinner about and say, we're all winners. We're all fucking winners. Oh, yes. Because now we've bent over from Mattel Toys because, you know, WWE's not a multi-billion-dollar company that any other minor toy company would want to make toys for. Oh, no. We've bent over for them. We bent over for all the parental, like, rights groups and people that think, you know, this is violent or that is violent and whatever and da-da-da-da-da. And, you know, everybody blames the Benoit thing. I don't blame the Benoit thing. I blame it on WWE losing their fucking balls. They took Orton out of a movie because the military was offended. You know, they suspended Jericho, who was one of the best things in the company to happen in a long time. Him coming along to boost CM Punk, him coming along and now working with John Cena, etc., gives ages of credibility back to the company. Oh, well, we offended some people when we were overseas, so we better punish you to make ourselves look good. You didn't really do anything. You were doing your fucking job as a heel. Oh, yes. Here's the thing. I'm going to tangent off on the Jericho thing for just a minute. Yes, I am. I'm sorry. The flag that he kicked, yes, he kicked the flag, and yes, that may be seen as disrespectful. You know who did that? Chris Jericho, the character. I don't know Chris Jericho's real name, but whatever his name is, if his name's John Smith didn't kick that flag. Chris Jericho did, and I'm sorry, he also wasn't the one to introduce the flag. The one to introduce the flag was one of the members in the Brazilian audience. Oh, yes. And when CM Punk took it and waved it proudly or whatever to get a lot of crowd heat in his favor, he then made it a prop. Chris Jericho, the fictional character, kicked a prop. But because WWE's so fucking pussy whipped these days, no, that got Jericho suspended. Orton was discharged from the military or left or whatever, so he can never be in a movie that's about the military, da-da-da-da-da. He left the military. I doubt very seriously that Ted DiBiase, more so your little golden boy John Cena, ever even touched the military in their lives. But no, because you're so worried about people kicking up a fuss and maybe making you look bad that you didn't want to take the risk. Meanwhile, how much does WWE do for the military in a given year? But no, they're going to bend over for this and that and the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. They got rid of the Armageddon pay-per-view because people thought it had religious overtones and they gave us TLC instead. TLC is an amazing pay-per-view, don't get me wrong. I'm just saying the fact that they literally changed the name of a show. Armageddon, it's a violent word. It's a violent thought. Wrestling is supposed to be a violent product, people. Oh, fucking right. You are not tuning in for the primetime Barney hour, even though, you know, John Cena looks like him half the time. No, you are tuning in to watch people fight, and usually when people have a fight, there's a reason for them to have a fight. There's some anger, there's some aggression, da-da-da, and that leads to violence, and violence, if you want to exaggerate, can be described as Armageddon. It does not mean the wrath of God is coming down on such and such arena in Anytown, USA. Moving on. Now, we have the apex. We have the apex of this right now. There is a movement right now, apparently, to change the name, not of pay-per-views anymore. We're not changing the name of pay-per-views anymore because the pay-per-views are lame-ass to begin with. Where people want them to change the name of the Hell in the Cell match and they want them to change the name of the Elimination Chamber match. Now, we've already had the Armageddon thing, so it didn't really surprise me. People want Hell in the Cell stricken from the record books because hell is symbolic of the devil. And if you have a religious audience, or you have little Bible thumpers that don't want their kids watching the show, oh, if that's supposed to be a child-friendly product, we can't talk about hell. We've taught our children that hell is bad. Okay, keep teaching your children that hell is bad. You teach your children. Don't depend on the TV to watch and teach and do whatever with your children, and you will not have to worry about them learning about hell from the television when they're supposed to be learning from you, your family members, your grandparents and teachers and all that shit. If you stop using the TV as a teaching tool when it's supposed to be a recreational one, you wouldn't have to worry half as much about what's on it and whether it affects or offends or puts a dash in your precious religious beliefs when not everybody will agree with you. There are Satanists out there in the world, and I'm not saying, you know, people that are out there doing evil, bad things to each other in the name of the devil, but there are people that don't do anything wrong, that believe in the devil, believe in hell, etc., 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 that probably think it's wonderful. Did you think about that? No. Now you're encroaching on their religious beliefs, so stop being a fucking hypocrite and get over yourself. The one that's even more offensive, and the one where it's just, okay, people pulled out a buzzword, a hot topic word, just to scare the WWE. Yes, we have to rename the Elimination Chamber because the word chamber has Nazi overtones. Bull fucking shit. I'm not even going to dignify it with any more of an answer than that. WWE, if you kowtow to either one of these requests, you don't have a hair left on your fucking ballsack. The coconuts are raisins, and you need to get the fuck over it. Now, let's move on. Let's talk about what's usually one of my favorite matches of the year, Money in the Bank, which has been bastardized like a fucking prostitute so far in the build to this show. Now, Raw's Money in the Bank has been renamed the WWE Championship Money in the Bank because the rosters mean fuck all these days. The idea of the WWE Championship Elimination Chamber is only former champions can be in it. Tell me something, people. Was Money in the Bank not meant to be an opportunity for people to get a shot at the World Championship that usually wouldn't? That usually wouldn't. And not only that, holy Christ, you have the creator of the Money in the Bank concept, Chris Jericho, in this match. He's the only one I give a shit about in this match, and he's not going to win. Not only does WWE have to save face because of the Brazil incident, but Jericho is a part-time player at best. They're not going to give him fuck all. He hasn't won a single match of any importance. I'm sure he's won a match on Raw or on SmackDown or on a lead-up show or whatever. He hasn't lost he hasn't won a match of significance since coming back, and that's disgusting. Oh, yes, it is. Cena, the golden boy, the one we know is going to win. And why do we know he's going to win? Well, I'm going to get to that later. Oh, yes. Cena's boring as fuck. He's going to recycle the 5 moves of doom. He's going to stumble up a ladder. I was there. The last decent rivalry Cena had was with Edge when it culminated in a TLC match in Toronto. I was there. And I'm sorry, you got Edge in a TLC match, and because John Cena was in it and he had such a Cena effect on the match, I was bored. I was bored in a TLC match that had Edge. That shows you how much John Cena belongs in this match. Big Show is a big, awkward fucking goof. Moving on. Kane. I liked when he came back because he took out Cena. I liked his role, such as it was, as an additional character or an additional element in the Punk Bryan story because it worked quite well. Kane, not only has he already won Money in the Bank, not only has he been a world champion, not only is he, on the last legs of his career, everybody says, but no, he's a big guy, and he's awkward, and he's not built for Money in the Bank. You got one guy in Jericho who, yes, is amazing, who, yes, can carry just about anybody to an amazing match, but if you want him to carry Kane, Show, and Cena up a ladder to a great match, that's a lot to ask from Chris Jericho, isn't it? Oh, yes. Everybody talks about Money in the Bank for the implications afterwards. Who deserves the title shot? Who deserves to carry the briefcase and everything that it means? Here's the bottom line of it. You need to think about that. You need to think where your story is going forward. You need to think who you want the next potential champion to be. But because Money in the Bank ladder match is a fucking ladder match, you need to think about who can perform well in a fucking ladder match. Moving on. You cannot have... Not everybody is an Edge. Not everybody is a Shawn Michaels or a Jeff Hardy or a Shelton Benjamin or a... whoever else has done really, really well in these matches. Christian, Matt Hardy, even the Dudley Boys to a certain extent, but I wouldn't do it again now. I don't know who else you would want to put in there. I don't know, Shannon Moore if he was still around, Hurricane if he was still around. Those kind of guys. Guys that have proven that they can do well in ladder matches. They have to... What the fuck? Yes, you have to worry more about the story moving forward, but you still have to worry about the quality of that actual match. Even if we know Cena's going to win. We know Cena's going to win, and that thought is depressing enough as it is. At least give us a good match before Cena comes along and dashes all of our hopes and dreams. Oh, fucking yes. And then, and then it gets so much better because we move to SmackDown. Oh, yes, we moved to SmackDown for the World Heavyweight Championship Money in the Bank ladder match. And this is not former champions. So they took a slight, this big step in the right direction. That big. Take one step forward, and take the rest of the steps back till you pass my door, till you pass my fridge, till you pass my laundry equipment, and wander right out my back door. That's how far back they took a step tonight. Oh yes, let's see who's in the World Heavyweight Championship Money in the Bank ladder match. Damien Sandow, the goofball reject from Troy that has been in the WWE for a cup of coffee and hasn't had a decent match yet. And don't bring up FCW shit, because as soon as you step into WWE, it is day one. Period. What the fuck has he done other than, you know, squash Yoshitatsu and a couple of other people in matches that amounted to fuck all to earn his way into the World Championship picture? And yes, I'm sorry, it is. The implications of Money in the Bank. You have a shot at that briefcase, and whoever wins that briefcase basically is going to be the next champion. They haven't had anybody cash in and lose yet. So by being in the Money in the Bank, you are automatically inserted, at least in some minor way or shape or form, into the World Heavyweight Championship title picture. You've been around for a cup of coffee, go fuck yourself. That's the end of that one. Tensai, why? I will admit I was wrong. I marked for Tensai when he came back, because when I heard Albert was coming back, and I remember how much I liked Albert back in the day, Albert was never ever going to be a main eventer. I know that. But in the mid-card, he was a fun guy. You know, he teamed with Draws, he teamed with The Big Show, he did some stuff on his own, he had the piercing gimmick for a while. He was just kind of there, and he was solid. He was a solid mid-carder and whatever, and he was one of those guys that was just, I remember Albert, I remember A-Train, or the Hip-Hop Hippo, or whatever incarnation. But I'm sorry, since he's come back, he's been the most gigantic failure in recent WWE history, as far as I'm concerned. Why the hell is his big chunky dunk long lard ass big awkward fucking self, what good is he gonna do in Money in the Bank? He's not. He's gonna take some massive bump to the outside and be done. Santino. I'm losing the will to speak. Santino. Comedy character that nobody takes seriously. Hasn't had a good match in ages. The last time he had a good match was a couple months ago when The Miz, of all people, dragged him kicking and screaming to a great match before, you know, he did his own Italian John Cena Superman bullshit. He's killed the US title. He's been booked way too close to winning the Royal Rumble. He was booked way too close to beating Daniel Bryan at the Elimination Chamber. We know he's not going to win, but he doesn't even deserve to be booked that far. He doesn't deserve to be in this match. And, oh yes, how did he get into this match? Because he won a tag team match with Christian as his partner, and he didn't get the pin. Technically, he didn't beat anybody. He did nothing to qualify for this match other than ride Christian's coattails. Oh yes, Christian, big fan of Christian. Obviously, everybody's going to come to me, Spaz, why aren't you happy that Christian is in the Money in the Bank? Because he's not going to win. They put the title on him once already. It lasted 2 days. Technically 5, because SmackDown's supposed to be on Friday. Yeah, but SmackDown tapes on Tuesday. He gave up the title 2 days later, and then got buried in the Orton feud. Now, that shows you how much stock WWE has in him as a world champion. Besides that, they just gave him the job of carrying the Intercontinental Championship after Cody Rhodes fixed it for us, more or less, and saved it from the Ezekiel Jacksons of the world. Oh yes, I don't think they're going to play hot potato with the Intercontinental Championship and play around with the credibility that Cody Rhodes just gave to it. So Christian's, yeah, in it. Am I happy that Christian's in it? Absolutely. Do I hope he wins? Yes. Does that make it even worse that he's in it when I know he's not going to win? Absolutely. And speaking of people that I love, people that I am happy are in the match and aren't going to win it, Tyson fucking Kidd should be considered the dark horse of this match. Point blank, we know he's not going to win. Point fucking blank. The only thing that Tyson Kidd has been allowed to do of note recently is form a tag team, I can speak, I swear, with Justin Gabriel. Now, here's the other fun part. How did Tensai get into the Money in the Bank ladder match? He beat Justin Gabriel. So now, Justin Gabriel is not in the Money in the Bank ladder match. Not only that, but he can't even pursue his current storyline as a tag team wrestler because his tag team partner is in Money in the Bank. And that doesn't make any sense because they're sacrificing one half of a tag team that could be fucking amazing into a match that we know he's going to get squashed in. Fuck. Okay. Yes, there's a lot of people that are out right now. There's a lot of people that have just come back. You know, Christian was injured. Sin Cara was injured. Ray's coming back soon. Orton is suspended. Friggin' Jericho just came back from suspension. Wade Barrett is injured. Mark Henry is injured. Alberto Del Rio just came back. So we have a depleted roster, but there's still a lot of guys that aren't listed in any of these matches and don't have anything for Money in the Bank so far as has been announced, because WWE is so good at announcing their matches before shit happens. Here's just a short list of people that could be in Money in the Bank that would be a hell of a lot better than these people that I've mentioned right here, other than Christian and Kidd, who we just know aren't going to win. Ziggler. What the fuck are they doing with Ziggler? Del Rio. Yes, Del Rio is great, whether you want to admit it or not. Whether you don't think he's a good fit, or whether you think he could do some good in the minor card. Del Rio is an awesome wrestler. End of story. End of the day, end of story. Rhodes. Overdue. Gabriel? No, I'm not being so much of a Gabriel mark that I'm saying I want him to win Money in the Bank, but it's a fucking ladder match. He's a high flyer. He suits the match style. So does Ziggler. So does Del Rio. He's proven it. So does Rhodes. He's proven it. Kofi Kingston, one of the tag team champions. Yes. Did I just rant about breaking up a tag team? Yes. But this is a different scenario. Because R-Truth is injured, he wouldn't be in a tag team scenario anyway. Throw him into Money in the Bank. He will steal the show. Like he did at Chamber. Like he did at the friggin' at the Royal Rumble. He could do great things. Again, not a guy I think would win, but a guy who will add to the match style itself. Ryback, and oh yeah, I just bashed on Sandow, this and that. Money in the Bank is a destructive atmosphere, people. Think about the match type, think about the person. Destructive atmosphere, Ryback's basically a wrecking ball. He would play that role in the match. Mark Henry didn't do horribly in Money in the Bank. He went in and destroyed people, did his bit, and basically left. Sin Cara, again, high flyer, brings that sort of fast-paced luchador atmosphere that could do great in a ladder match. Miz has proven that he does great in Money in the Bank. He's won one already, but don't tell me that people don't repeat. I'm sorry, Edge. I'm sorry, CM Punk, and I don't hear anybody complaining about them, do I? Absolutely not! Hunico could be a dark horse in the match. Ted DiBiase could be a dark horse in the match. Yoshitatsu, for God's sake, could use this. Again, not that I think he's going to win, but he's busted his ass in the WWE for how long now? How long? When was the last time he was prominently featured in anything other than a battle royal that needed filler? Now, there's a couple other people in there that are parts of other tag teams, like throw in a Trent Beretta or a Kurt Hawkins, or, you know, throw in the Usos, maybe, I guess, if you want to. But there's more people down here in this list that I've made here that should be in Money in the Bank than have been announced for Money in the Bank at all. At all. And yes, I know that there's reasons for some of them. I do know there's reasons for some of them. Del Rio and Ziggler are involved with Sheamus right now already. Fine, that's a good reason. Miz is off shooting the Marine 3. That's fine. I get it. I'm just saying these are better options than the wingnuts that you've got in the SmackDown Money in the Bank ladder match, and they're hell of a lot better than the big goofy fucking tools that you have in the Raw match. Just saying. Moving on before I pull my hair out. Cena is going to be in the WWE Championship match at SummerSlam, which is why we know he's going to win at Money in the Bank, which is why we know this, and this. Alex Dalyxman, you said it yourself personally, man. Cena's going to win because it's in the book. The mythical, magical, invisible WWE book, Cena has to win. Cena's going to SummerSlam. He's being inserted back in the title match for no reason. No reason at all. And the logic behind this, figure this out, people. The logic behind this is because, well, Triple H and Lesnar is the main event, which is fine. Then you've got 2 world titles to deal with, which is bullshit, because we should only have 1 world title, but we can only live in the world that we have right now, and right now we have 2. So, Triple H, Lesnar, WWE title, World Heavyweight Championship. So they're upset that it would be so out of place for Cena to be 4th best on the card, when really he's like maybe 200th best on the roster. Please. They suck so much Cena dick that basically what they did was they made Triple H Lesnar, went to Cena's locker room and said, oh Cena, we're so fucking sorry. We made a main event that doesn't have you in it, so we're gonna give you the belt again. Is that okay, Cena? Is that okay, Cena? Did we do good? Go fuck yourself. How about that? Or Vince, or, you know, board of directors, or Laurinaitis, or Triple H, whoever, made that decision, go fuck yourself. You're shoving Cena in the way of what is already a great WWE title feud because that's what you do. And there's no other reason. It's just, that's what you do, and like Alex says, it's in the book. Last one isn't even a WWE thing. The last one is just something that I read today that we can come up here on YouTube and rant and bitch and vent like I've been doing right here, right now. You don't try to profit from somebody dying. You just don't. You don't try to profit from a family getting destroyed. Say what you will about the Chris Benoit thing. As I've said, I talk to John. Whenever I talk to John about Chris Benoit, I admit that I don't know. I don't know where my head is with Chris Benoit, because where your head is with Chris Benoit basically depends on whether or not you want to separate Chris Benoit the wrestler from Chris Benoit the man. And that's hard to do, and whether you should do it or not is a debate in and of itself. ICP. Never been an ICP fan. Used to be friends with a guy who was a big ICP fan and played them all the time, and I got sick of them. Basically, ICP to me is two really, really retarded, stoned, drunk clones of Eminem in bad Halloween costumes doing even worse rap. I don't understand how they have the following they do. I don't understand how they have the Juggalo family, yo, and all that bullshit. But it's one of those, you know, music is a lot like wrestling, whereas it's, you know, to each your own, and, you know, I catch a lot of shit for liking Linkin Park, and, you know, whatever. There's certain people that I listen to as the same as there's certain people that I like in wrestling that I get shit on for, and I don't want to do the same thing. So I'm not going to go on a big tear. I'm not going to be Wrestling Jesus. I'm not going to be, you know, one of those guys that goes and rants on the Juggalos forever, but I could. I've known a few that have given me enough material, trust me. But ICP, insane clown posse, insane fucking goofball pussies as far as I'm concerned. Apparently on their next album, I haven't seen it, I haven't seen lyrics for it or anything like that, one of the tracks that's listed on the CD, the name of the song is Chris Benoit. ICP are basically the Howard Sterns of bad rap. Basically everything they do is for shock value. And I get that. There's the Dane Cooks and the Jim Carreys out there that get popular and whatever on shock value. And I get it. I do. There's a lot of comedy things that are out there for shock value that probably shouldn't be funny, or probably shouldn't have a following, or probably doesn't deserve to have a single fan that they have. And be that as it may, I like some of it. I can't stand ICP because I think they're obnoxious and annoying and have about the same amount of talent as you can fit into this marker cap here. But be that as it may, they have amassed a hell of a following, and they put some G-rate wrestling bullshit together with every fat, out-of-shape, stoned, overweight, drunk, retired wrestler they could find to come out and make themselves look like really, really ridiculous fucking goofballs. But here's the thing. Whether you're on Benoit's side or not, if you're on Benoit's side, then you should be pissed that these guys are making money, getting popular, making money, making sales, performing concerts with a song about Chris Benoit, making money off the fact that he got so injured that he was so fucked up that he killed his family. They're making money off of that guy. They're making money off of his suffering. And if you're not a Chris Benoit fan, if you're one of the Chris Benoit haters that says, you know, whatever hell Benoit's in, he deserves, then take it one step further. These guys are benefiting from the suffering of his family. I'm sorry, go fuck yourself. Go fuck yourself until you can't tell where Shaggy ends and where Jay begins. And everything else I've ranted on in this video is fucking moot compared to this. This is fucking ridiculous. It's not even anything. Why? You're gonna write a song about, and you know, knowing the kind of stuff that these guys do, yeah, it's gonna be super respectful and everything. Yeah, it's probably gonna be like some ridiculous nonsense that makes the whole thing into a joke. And it's not a joke. A guy got so fucked up in the head doing what he loved, trying to, like, Benoit got so fucked up in the head, got so injured, got so brain damaged, got so whatever, because he busted his ass to entertain every single one of his fans, that in some way, shape, or form, it was okay, in his mind for at least a split second, to kill himself and his entire family. That's a tragedy. That's a mini massacre. And these fuckers are going to come along, make a joke out of it, and make money off of that. That's fucking disgusting. I don't have anything else. I really don't. I've got nothing. I'm still trying to see the good in wrestling. I really am. Anybody that wants to post anything, you know, a little more uplifting, a little more upbeat down in the box below, I would more than welcome it at this point. I know there's still good there. I just don't think at this point we're getting the chance to see it, and we're going to lose out on an entire generation of talent because the WWE doesn't have a hair left on their ball sack, like I said before. Anyways, you guys know the drill. I've been Spaz, your YWC reality check, and it's about time that I gave you guys and myself a reality check. Subscribe up there, talk down there, start a conversation, keep this conversation going. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. Don't be a stranger. I'll talk to each and every last one of you later or whenever. But for right now, you guys, you know the deal. I'm tagging out. But.
Get up, come on, get down.